So they're right at the bottom line. It's all money.
All right. Noam fixes back. Rabbi Isai is back.
That's what happened. You understand? Chabad needed a mikvah. Exactly. So that's why Kosh Baruch said, "No, plenty of you didn't."
Exactly. That's exactly how the Chabad. That's the next story in Chabad. We're Daf. Rabbi Isai Daf Kuf. Omid Aleph. Did you hear what I just said? Daf Kuf. Kuf. We're holding the 102 Menachos. 10 daf away from the siyum, as Noam would say. Now that he's here, he could say it. All right, so we're holding a new sugya. Chal Yom Kippur B'Leis B'Shabbos. 7 lines down. It says that if Yom Kippur fell out on Shabbos and you can't cook the carbon because it's Yom Kippur, so they gave it to Bavliim to eat the raw. So they gave it to Bavliim to eat the raw meat. Otherwise, it will be a problem with Lina. Omer Rabbi Bar Bachana. Omer Rabbi Bar Bachana. Everything is addressed. Omer Rabbi Yochanan. Loi Bavliim heim. These are not real Bavliim. It's just a nickname. Elo Alexandriim heim. These are people from Mitzrayim called Alexandriim. Yeah, Alexandria. They're able to eat meat. What do you call it? Gary's not here.
Carpaccio or steak tartare.
Tartare. Thank you.
Disgusting food. It's like you go to a restaurant, they give you raw meat.
Umetoich. What? Umetoich shesoinim. We're mamish in a great mood. Noam's back. Allowed the flight. We're gonna hear all about it.
Raw meat.
Umetoich shesoinim sabavliim, because the Jews of Eretz Yisrael hate the Jews of Bavel. You hear this lashon? The Jews of Eretz Yisrael hate the Jews of Bavel. Koyir moisam al shem bavliim. So for this we have to see Tosfos. How are you allowed to hate another Jew? It says Tosfos, Shesleinim sabavliim, the top Tosfos. Kidashkachno b'perikam the Yuma, the Omar, Amalei Rishim, Elogish Levilazer, Elad Yisrael, Sani Lechu, Lefishaloi, Alu b'mei Ezra.
Right, they didn't come to Eretz Yisrael.
They didn't come to Eretz Yisrael, so we have a right to hate them. Now, Tosfos has a very good kasha. L'maisa, they're doing a great thing. They're eating the carbon raw for what? To do a good thing, to do a good deed. So why are you making fun of them? That they shouldn't come to Noisar. Fine. So Tosfos says that yes, it's a good thing to eat this carbon, but what happened was they so used to it that they look like fressers. And Mamela, we make fun of them. Now, just as a side point, no, we hated them because they didn't come. But we're making fun of them in our sugya that they ate raw, because if they ate it raw once a year, lekaved the mitzvah, that's a beautiful thing. But since they got used to habitual, so Mela, it's a derogatory thing. Now, a side point here, Tosfos says, what mitzvah did they do? Noisar, that it shouldn't come to Noisar. What about the fact, I'll ask you another question. If a person eats raw meat, a treif, does he get malchus? It was raw, never cooked. The halacha is he doesn't get malchus, because it's raw, it's disgusting, it's not achila. So what about, could we take that same halacha and do it for us, for a mitzvah? A guy eats kachim, he's going to be mamish, l'shem mitzvah eating kachim, but it's raw. It's right, it was just shechted a minute ago. Is he mekayim the mitzvah? So that's why Tosfos says, l'chayr, according to Rishash at least, that what is his mitzvah? Not eating kachim. Tosfos could have said simple. They did a big mitzvah, they ate kachim. No, the mitzvah here is that it didn't come to Noisar. But other people say no. What Tosfos meant is, in addition to that mitzvah, there's also a mitzvah of Noisar. Fine. Says the Gemara. What do you mean? Mevater.
If you're eating it.
No, they had to. This is a situation where it was Yom Kippur. They couldn't cook it. The only way to do it, in order not. So they actually did a mitzvah here.
Is nicer only applicable if it's left over?
Yeah.
And then you don't eat it.
Right. So the mitzvah that they did was they ate it in order that it shouldn't come to Moisar. So what he's saying is, why do you have to come onto such a far-fetched mitzvah? The actual eating it right now is a mitzvah. The answer is, it's not a mitzvah because it's raw. If you eat something shaloi kederech, you're not mekayim a mitzvah, just like you're not mekayim an avera.
So in other words, if somebody comes from Chutzlaretz, from America, you give the regular, you give Yom Tov, you still a Russia.
Why? Because he didn't come up.
They must have come to Israel to eat this meat.
Yeah, they didn't move. And Ezra told them, come. Everybody should come. And they said, no, we like our fancy houses, our Lexuses, America.
He offered his hand to Rish Lakish when he was in the river. He said to him, grab my hand. And Rish Lakish kind of was having a problem. And he said, no, I'm a and I'd rather trample it. Leave me alone. I hate you. That's it.
Say it.
That's it.
I did notice that you remember a lot of Gemaras. Is it only the story stuff, or it's all Gemaras? No, for real. You're always quoting stuff. Zog the Gemara. I mean, once we're talking about you, Mazel Tov again, Mazel Tov. Okay, let's just finish up to the Mishnah. Oh no, says the Gemara. Tanya Namahachi, we see something similar. Rabbi Yossi Omer, Lo Bavliim Heim, Elach Zandriim Heim. Umetan Shesoinim Es HaBavliim, since the Eretz Yisrael Dika hate the Bavliim, those Bavliim, Koyenoison, Alshem Bavliim, so we call the Alexandriim Bavliim, because what's the most hated? What's a good example of somebody we hate? The Bavli. Even though he's in Alexandria. He's nothing, he's from Egypt, he's not from Bavel. Rabbi Yehuda, Tanoch Daitcha, Sheinachta Daiti. Rabbi Yehuda, who was from Bavel, he was all insulted that, it's interesting, the fact that they called him a Bavli and they made fun of him, that Rabbi Yehuda wasn't insulted. I guess he was used to that. The fact that they said that he's a fresser, that he's a, that he took exception to, but now he felt good. So us Bavlim, we don't eat raw, it's the Alexandrium. But we make fun of you, we call them Bavlim and that's a derogatory name, that he was okay with. But don't say that we're fressers, that we ate.
The fact that they should have come to Israel. You can't argue with that. The Taina is.
You mean they deserve it? They deserve it. But don't say, okay, very good.
Then he's masking.
Okay.
Can you imagine Daf Yomi would have been so much shorter if we'd only had come to Yerushalmi?
Much more difficult though. Says the Mishnah, new Mishnah. Siddur Salechem b'Shabbos, v'Sabozichin l'Shabbos. By the way, we touched upon this Mishnah in a few Gemaras already. We had it. Siddur Salechem b'Shabbos, v'Sabozichin l'Shabbos. The halacha is that the bread has to be on the shulchan from Shabbos to Shabbos, together with the bezichin. So if you miss one or the other, you don't have your full mitzvah, and it's no good. So if you put the bread on without the bezichin, and the bezichin you decided to put on Sunday, so the bezichin will only be there for 6 days rather than 7 days. V'higdar sabezichin b'Shabbos, and then you went and you marked the bezichin as if nothing happened. Pasul. Now, it's possible, we have to point out, Rashi says a beautiful thing here. The bread went on the right day. So now we don't have the eights anymore. Well, maybe leave it over to the next week. Like we had that case and we're going to have it at the end of the Mishnah. There is an eitzah. If you put both of them on the table on Sunday instead of on Shabbos, so what do? You just wait
13 days.
13 days. That's because the clock didn't start ticking yet. The clock starts ticking only on the following Shabbos. But over here, the clock started ticking for the bread. You're right, for the bezichin, it doesn't start ticking until the following Shabbos, but it's too late already, because the clock started ticking for the bread. In other words, it's an interesting concept, that the clock will start ticking for one or the other, as long as it's Shabbos. Fine. Since Alechem, now, another halacha.
You can only put on you can only do it from Shabbos to Shabbos.
That's the only way. We'll see soon. There is an exception. If both of them went on the table after Shabbos, then we waited for 13 days. Now, because it's not considered real bread, so memela, you're not chayiv on it for pigul. So if you took the bezichin after 6 days instead of 7 days, and you were makter it, and he had in mind to eat the bread in a week from now, pigul, out of its time, it's not chal, because what you're doing is nothing. It's not real bezichin. So therefore, there's no pigul, there's no noiser, you're not over on leaving over the bread longer, because the bread is not considered lachem aponim, and you're not over v'tamei, you're not over if you eat it v'tuma. Siddur salechem v'sabazichem b'Shabbos. You put everything on the table at the right time. V'higdar sabazichem la'achar Shabbos, but you didn't have patience, and you immediately, the following day, on Sunday, you went and you were maktir the bezichin. Obviously, psula, it's no good. Siddur salechem v'sabazichem la'achar Shabbos. So this is the case that we had, that you put both the lechem and the bezichim on the table on Sunday, which is the wrong day, one day too late. V'higdar sabazichem b'Shabbos, psula. and you waited until the following Shabbos, which is typically the day that you do the Aktara, it's possible. Keitzad Yaseh. So what's your way out? Yani Chen Shabbos Haba. Don't wait 6 days, wait 13 days. Like this, it has a full from Shabbos to Shabbos. Shafilu hi ala shulchan yomim rabim ein bekach klum. What the Mishnah is saying here is not literally. It means that yomim rabim, the lechem starts from Shabbos to Shabbos. But once you have 2 Shabbosim in there, then you cannot leave the lechem anymore. Then there is a noisar on lechem. The reason why you have yomim rabim, you have up to 13 days without noisar, because you need one Shabbos to the other Shabbos. But once you hit the first Shabbos, the clock starts ticking. From that point on, you only have to the following Shabbos, and after that day, it's already noiser immediately.
Will the names of it still stay in the supply?
Why not? I would say so. Says the Gemara Etnan also. We learned the Masechta Suma. Omar lehem hamemuna. So Rashi says this is the Zgan a Kohen. Second command. Taisa says differently. Tsuru, Taisa says it's just a guy that's in charge of certain things. Tsuru migiyaz man shchita. He tells them, go make sure. Let's see if it's daytime already that we could bring the tamid in the morning. Imigia, if the time came, haraya oimer. So the guy in charge, he's standing on the wall. Let's say he's on the wall. The kohen is down below. He sees the sun peeking through. He screams out, Barkai. Barkai means it's dawn, it's the morning, we could do the Talmud. Says the Gemara, Matisyo ben Shmuel Oimer. So Matisyo ben Shmuel was in charge, and he would say, Hey, Pnei Kol HaMizrach, Atche Bechevron. He would use this lashon, it's morning on the entire east, all the way to Chevron. Why all the way to Chevron? Because he would mention the Aves HaKadoshim. There's a way of mentioning the Aves. Vu Oimer Hein. He would ask them a question, was it till Chevron? And they would say yes. Why do you need all this? They thought that the sun came up, but really it was the moon. By mistake, they did the shechita, and therefore they had to burn the carbon tamid because they shechted it at night instead of during the day. Now, once they realized it's morning, now they could put the kohen in the mikvah in order for him to do the tamid. Now another halacha. Zeh klal hoya b'hamikdash, nothing to do with what we just learned. There was a klal in the Beis Hamikdash. A person going to the bathroom. Anybody that goes to the bathroom has to either go into the mikvah, depending, number 1 or number 2. Says the Gemara, Zeh klal hoya b'hamikdash kol ha-meisach es raglav ton tefillah. If we're worried that he might have a real piece of dirt on him, so this is pretty disgusting. In order to wash his body from excrements, you go into a mikvah. I know, I didn't want to say that. That's what's.
That's the warning.
Who said that that's what it's
That's
for?
the- that's the-
Even if it's clean.
Yeah, but we're choishish. That's the difference. We're choishish for dirt. That's what it is. It's real. It's a cleansing. It's a way of. You take a bath.
Who said it?
Yeah, that's what it says.
That's what they are.
They queue up who goes first.
That's what it says there. It definitely says it over there.
You do a tefillah, that's even after you clean.
They don't have some, they don't have.
Yuri says that?
You know what I'm saying?
V'chol ha'matel mayim ton kiddush yadayim v'raglayim.
That's not what mikvah is for. And
That's not what
that's
it's for. It's not make this for.
And
I hope that's not the kind of.
that's not the mikveh you donated in Greece.
Does that imply you can't go to the mikvah before sunrise?
It doesn't work.
You shouldn't see.
It doesn't work. That's what it's
why you
saying.
go.
You need the sunrise. Oh, for this. Well, according to me, it cleans the body, so it's good.
It's
I'm
good.
saying for the tamid. This has nothing to do with tamid.
This is just.
This is anybody that goes in. So now-
You've got to mikvah before davening.
No, but it's in the base of mikdash.
Before it says the kabbalas, right? Should he wait until sunrise?
But it's a question.
Yeah, you know, it depends. It depends la halacha, according to the Rosh or the Rash. But why do you? If is the night that causes tumah or that you touch mekamis and mechusim? So if the night causes tumah, then it doesn't help to go to the mikvah during the night because the actual night causes tumah. And if you go to the bathroom, you have to wash your hands from the kiyar. Remember, kiddush yadayim v'raglayim, you have to do a balancing act. You have to put your right hand on your right foot, and It's a whole. It's not so easy. Yeah. Limit it as much as possible. Yeah, I'm saying so. Some of these guys are dunking in the mikveh 4 or 5 times the. If you need to read WhatsApps, you're not going to the bathroom those days. It's not kedai. Tani Abu Rebavin loizu belvad. Okay, so this Rabbi Oven, we're going to take exception to this Rabbi Oven, the father of Rabbi Oven. He says, not only a tamid do you have to burn if you do it in the wrong time, but there's other things also they have to burn. Even a mincha, which you do by mistake at night, you didn't realize it's not daytime, burn it. And even a bird. Takes the base straight. Ask the Gemara, once you shech the bird, there's no going back. You can't make it alive again. You can't reuse it. A mincha, what happened? You took a kmitza in the wrong time. So basically you did nothing. You did zero. You're doing a joke. You're going like this. Big deal. It's not considered kmitza. If it's not a kmitza, it's a joke. Put it right back in the bowl and wait until daylight and do it again. Your maisa was nothing. That's the point there. Says the Gemara, Hutani la vu omar la. Klisharis mekachim shlei bizmanon. It's not that you didn't do anything. You did do something. Since you have a klisharis here and you put your kmitza into klisharis, you're right, it's the wrong time, but it has enough power in it, has enough kedusha in it to give it some sort of kedusha, which makes it possible for putting it back into the shirayim and starting over. So it gives something, as the Gemara Meisvei Kol HaKarev Bayoim Kodesh Bayoim. It says that anything, a carbon that you bring during the day, so it gets Kedushas HaGuf in the day, Balayla, Kodesh Balayla. So let's say something like Nesachim, which you could do even at night, so it gets Kedusha at night. Bein Bayoim or Bein Balayla, some are not goris this so much because it's hard to understand. Kodesh Bein Bayoim or Bein Balayla. Fine, you could even read it in one shot. Something like Nesachim that you could do even by the day or by the night. So if you do it by the night, it gets Kedusha at night. So the Gemara says, Kol HaKarev Bayoim, Kodesh Bayoim. It says Mefurish that if it's something that belongs during the day, when does it get its Kedusha? Only during the day. Bayoim in Balayla Loi. Any Kodesh L'Karev, Ava Kodesh L'Puzzle. So that's the answer. So what's the kasha? The kasha is, how are you telling me that by putting into the Klisharis, it gets some sort of Kedusha? Over here it says Mefurish, it gets no Kedusha. It only gets Kedusha at the right time. If it's something that's for the daytime, like a mincha, it comes out. Mincha, that's done by the day, gets Kedusha only during the day. Meaning at night it gets zero Kedusha.
So it needs both the day and the keli.
Yeah. Well, we're going to see in the next Mishnah. You have something, let's say a mincha, it has Kedushas Damim because I said I'm going to donate this flour, so it has a little bit of Kedusha called Kedushas Damim, which I can redeem it. We're going to see everything in the Mishnah later. And then once I put it into the Kli, it jumps into the next Kedusha called Kedushas Aguf.
And it's daytime.
And it's daytime.
If you put it into the keli at the night time, it would be anything.
So that's the Gemara's kasha. It seems like if I put into the Kli during the daytime, it gets Kedusha, meaning if I put in the Kli at night, it doesn't get any Kedusha. Says the Gemara, no. It's in between. Einoi Kodesh L'Karev, the daytime gives it Kedusha to make it a carbon. And if you do it at night, it doesn't have that much Kedusha. But it does have a little bit of Kedusha. Aval Kodesh L'Puzzle. It has somewhat of a Kedusha that if it stayed overnight, lina, or if a tful yaim touched it, it becomes tamei, and that's it. So it's in between kind of thing. Moisev Rabbi Zera. So again, so what do we have here? We have the father of Rabbi Oven who says that not only is a tamid, if you shech the tamid at night, you have to burn it, but also a bird that you shech at night, and also a mincha that you take the kmitza at night, you have to burn it, and we explain because a kmitza there's somewhat of a kedusha in the kli, not a whole bunch of kedusha, but a little bit of kedusha enough that you have to burn it. Moisef Rabbi Zera, so Rabbi Zera had a kasha. See this halechem b'sabazicha nachar Shabbos, our Mishnah. So he took the bread, the lechem upon him, and the bezichim, and he did it on the wrong day. He did it on Sunday. Viktis habezichim b'Shabbos psula, and then he waited 6 days, and he's makted the bezichin. It's now no good because you have to wait 7 days. Kate said, Yasis, so what's his way out? You wait to the following Shabbos, 13 days after he initially put it on the table. Shafidu hi al shulchan yom rabim ein bikach klum. So ask Reb Zera, v'isol kadai doch kli sharis mikachen shlei bizmanon. If the kli sharis has a little bit of power, that it gives a kedusha ligdosh, it should become kadosh immediately by the time he put it on the table. It should become kadosh v'liv soil, and then the clock should start ticking immediately, and 7 days later it should become pasul belina. Why are you telling me that the clock only starts ticking the following Shabbos, 6 days after he put it on the table? Okay, it starts ticking for real for the full Kedusha maybe 6 days later. But at least there should be some Kedusha that's Chal, just like over here, the Mincha that goes into a Kli, there's some Kedusha that's Chal immediately. Not the full Kedusha, but a little bit of Kedusha. So on the Lechem Apanim also, a little bit of Kedusha should be Chal. Omar Rabba, Mandiko Moisiv, Shabaka Moisiv. Reb Zera asked a beautiful question. Vavu de Rabbi Oven, so because of his question, we should really knock out Rabbi Oven's father. But the problem is, we have a major problem. Vavu de Rabbi Oven nami masnisa kamar. He brought a Mishnah. He's not just making this up himself. So we have a serious problem. How do we reconcile Avu de Rabbi Oven with Reb Zera's question? And therefore, we have to come up with some sort of pshat. And it would have to be something like this: Kosavar Laila e mechusar zman, hayomim mechusarim zman. Basically, what he's saying is that we know
What are they arguing about?
they're not arguing. The Gemara is just saying we have to take avodah ba'avin very seriously, because on the one hand we have a Mishnah that's against him, but he has. I'm sorry, we have Reb Zera that has a very good kash on him, that if Kedushas Akli by
What do you say? Let's fill in the blank.
okay, avodah Reb Zera says that is immediately as you put a mincha into a kli, even though it's nighttime, and it's not the time for the mincha, the kli has kedusha that it gives over to the mincha, and memela the mincha is somewhat kadosh, that at least the clock starts ticking for lina or for something else. If so, Reb Zera says, let's apply that same concept avodah Reb Oven to lechem apanim. If I put the bread on Sunday, the clock should start ticking immediately on Sunday. Why does our Mishnah say the clock doesn't start ticking until the following Shabbos, and then from that Shabbos you have 7 days, and only then the clock starts ticking on Shabbos? As soon as you put the bread on the table, you're right, it's not mamish lechem aponim, it only is lechem aponim from the following Shabbos, but at least a little bit of Kedusha, the same type of Kedusha that the avodah Reb Oven gave to a mincha, there's a little bit of Kedusha.
What into a kli?
What into the Kli? The Shulchan is also a Kli.
What are you going to do with this?
Friday also.
What?
What are you going to do with
The day
this?
before.
In a week? What are you going to do with this on Sunday? The next week?
You have to burn it. It's lina.
You should take it off.
You have no way out of it. The Mishnah says there's a eitzah. If we forgot, we didn't have bread, let's say on Shabbos, and we put the bread on Sunday, what do? You wait until the following Shabbos, 6 days later, and then the clock starts ticking, and then you wait another 7 days, and then you get to eat it.
Okay.
He was on the table for 13 days. That's not a problem, because the clock only started ticking on Shabbos. The question is, why does the clock start ticking on Shabbos? The clock should start ticking 6 days beforehand. Once the bread touched the shulchan, the clock should start ticking, just like when you put a mincha into a kli sharis at night, and it doesn't belong in the kli sharis at night, just like the lechem apanim doesn't belong in the shulchan on a Sunday. But you say that the kli sharis has a little bit of kedusha to it, and the clock starts ticking for the mincha. The clock should start ticking for a shulchan, for the lechem apanim. So Gemara wants to differentiate between a mincha and lechem apanim. Mincha, when did it happen? The night before. By us Jews, when does the night start? When does a person become bar mitzvah? The night before. But what's the problem? The problem is you can't do avoid that night. Okay, so I have a problem with the avoid. The avoid is possible at night. But I put my mincha into the kli at the right day. The day is the right day. Yeah? Yes or no? It's pashut. When did I put my mincha in the kli? The right day. But by the lechem aponim, I didn't put the lechem on the shulchan on the right day. I put it on a Sunday. That's the wrong day. It's many days before I was supposed to put it on. It's actually 6 days before I was supposed to put it on. Therefore, there's no kedusha at all.
She recommended they don't have lechem at Shabbos. They should wait. Forget about that one. We can start in the next Shabbos.
No.
Well, there's an inyan of tamid. It should be there should always be lechem on the shulchan, and you have nothing to lose. Why? Just leave it on the shulchan.
Causing a area, you're causing it to be Menachos man, you're going to have to burn it. You're causing lechem to be burned.
No, that's his kasha. But his kasha is according to a voder above, it should be burned. But he's saying no, it's very different. You can't. There's no proof from a mincha, because a mincha, the reason why there's kedusha is because he put it in the kli on the right day, just not at the right time of that day. He put it at the night time of the right day, and the night is not a time for avodah, so you have a problem. But lechem upon him, we put it in days before he's supposed to. It's a joke. That's not. There's no kedusha over there. Doesn't catch it at all.
Like nothing happened to it.
Exactly.
Safe.
Ask the Gemara, so if Daf Kuf Amud Beis. Now, there's a beautiful kasha here. You're telling me that the night before is the right time to put it on. It is part of the day, right? Night is always, the day starts at night. So if I put something in a kli sharis the night before I was supposed to put it in, the clock starts ticking. Ask the Gemara, so what happened there? He put the bread on the shulchan on a Sunday, November 1st. 6 days later, November 7th, is Shabbos. The clock starts ticking on November 7th. Ask the Gemara, but really the clock should start ticking the night before November 7th, because the day starts at the night, which is Friday night. So how did we even get to Shabbos? Friday night is when the clock started ticking. November 7th, Friday night, the clock started ticking. 7 days later, you want to eat the bread. It's too late. You can't eat the bread on Shabbos. When do we eat the bread? Shabbos morning. The clock started ticking Friday night. So the following Friday night should be 7 days. It's already Lina. Yeah, but it's from time to time. You had a full 7 days from Friday night to Friday night.
You mean they put it on 11 o'clock in the morning on Shabbos, regular carbon? Well, at 11 o'clock they have to take it off and eat it?
No, it's part of the day. Anytime, any day. But now, you're saying it's all saying the thing.
Maybe go to Kortoinus, night and day.
What?
Go to night and day, I know.
Right. That makes sense. Not that minute of the night, but that night all the way to dawn. And then it should become possible. Amarava, you're right. It's a very good kasha. It has to be that before Benish Moshes on Friday he took the bread away. So he put the bread on Sunday night on November 1st. November 7th he came and he took the bread off. Otherwise, and then immediately the following day he put the bread back on. They put the bread back on. Marzutra vitema Ravashi or Marafil. What? No, but you mean Tamid because it's not there at night, and we said it has to be at night. And Malasot. They messed up. There's no Tamid in the day they forgot. From Shabbos to Sunday there's also no Tamid. The week before. So it won't be this week either. And Malasot. Otherwise you have a problem of Lino. Marzutra vitema Ravashi or Marafil tema b'shloi kodem v'silek. You don't have to remove the bread. Why? Kiv in the Sidra Shalai Mitzvasai Nasa Kemisha Sidra Koif. It's as if a monkey put it on the table. Makes a lot of sense what he's saying. Then there's no way out of it. Once you miss the day, then there's no eitzah for the bread on the table on Sunday. Yeah. Exactly. The right day. It's the night before. It's the wrong time of the day. You can't do avoid at that point of the day. That's the pshat.
So it should be from the second Shabbos.
It's the right day, just the wrong avodah. I mean, that's how you have to. That's how you have to look. You can't do avodah that night. But in terms of time-wise, it's perfect. It catches because it's the day. It's Leil, whatever, Leil Shabbos. Leil Shabbos means it's Shabbos. It's the beginning of Shabbos. It's just you can't do mincha then. You shouldn't be doing kmitza. But the kli has the power to give it kedusha.
In that case, if it will be said the lechem on Leil Shabbos, and then the next week, if it stays till the morning, it's Paralina.
That's what it's saying here, and that's what he asked. That's exactly what he's asking. That how does it make sense? Because Friday night is part of Shabbos, and you should at least be able to eat it the following Shabbos. But according to this, it should be a problem. Says the Mishnah, Shtei alechem necholis ein pochis mishnayim v'lo yoser al shloisha. It's impossible to have shtei alechem that is less than 2 days old. Why? Because shtei alechem you can't bake the shtei alechem on Shabbos, on Yontif. It's not doicha Yontif. And memela, you have to do it erev Yontif. So every bread is going to be from erev Yontif to Yontif, which is 2 days. The second day, v'lo yoser al shloisha, but never more than 3 days. Keitzad, the Mishnah explains, nefois merev Yontif, necholos b'Yontif l'shnayim. So you bake the bread erev Yontif, and you eat it on Yontif, and that's 2 days. Why can you not bake bread on Yontif? We bake bread on Yontif all the time. Because in the Beis HaMikdash, it says lochem la'achlo. You, as private citizens, you could bake on Yontif, but not for Beis HaMikdash. Or, according to the other man Damar, there's a whole machlokes there, but the other man Damar will hold that when you could eat it immediately, then you could bake. But you cannot eat the shtei alechem immediately. You have to come on to shechting the carbon. And therefore, there's a isser to bake the 2 breads on Shavuos. So you have to do it on Erev Yontif. So the bread is 2 days old. Chal Yontov Liyos Achar Shabbos. If Erev Yontif was a Shabbos, so you cannot bake the bread obviously on Shabbos. So you have to bake it on Friday, which is 2 days before Yontif. Necholos l'shloisha. So now the bread is in its 3rd day. Lechem aponim nechol ein poches mitisha v'lo yoser al chadesor. So also lechem aponim cannot be baked on Shabbos. So you have to bake it erev Shabbos. So therefore, by the time you eat it, it's already 9 days old. It's in its 9th day. And sometimes, if you have Yontif or Rosh Hashanah, it's going to be even 11 days old. Keitzad nefel erev Shabbos. V'nechol b'Shabbos, that's a regular week, l'tishos. Then it's 9 days old. Chal Yontif Liyos Erev Shabbos, nechol asara. Since you can't bake the lechem aponim in Yontif, so you have to do it erev Yontif. So maybe you have 10 days. Shnei yomim toivim shel Rosh Hashanah. If Rosh Hashanah falls out on a Thursday and a Friday, so now you have to bake the bread on a Wednesday. Nechol achadasar. So now you have a case. What?
How do you know it's going to be Rosh Hashanah? If you're going according to seeing the moon,
Yeah.
we're going to bake on Wednesday in case somebody comes up tomorrow who says it's Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah, but you have that 1 day notice. When they come to tell you, and tomorrow we make Rosh Hashanah, so you have to bake the bread immediately.
They come on Thursday morning, the peasant's sitting, we've seen the moon, it's Rosh Hashanah.
That day on the spot?
Yes. Rosh Hashanah, Rosh Chodesh is declared on the day.
Wait a minute.
Keep Rosh Hashanah the whole day before anyway, just in case.
So then you're going to bake it.
So you're always baking.
before,
You're
in
always
that
baking
case.
breads.
If you have a suffix, you're going to have to keep it today. Then the day before you're going to bake the bread because you know that tomorrow
Whatever happens, you have to
right. You
have to be 1 day.
That's where the 2 days Rosh Hashanah come from.
Yeah.
Because they always have to complete that day, even then, and then keep the next day as well.
And any time they knew they're going to do that day, they did 1 day before the bread. So, lechem aponim doesn't push off Shabbos, doesn't push off Yontif. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel Rabbi Shimon ben Azgan doiche es Yom Tov. The lechem aponim is doiche. Not only lechem aponim, but even the shtei alechem does push off Yontif. He's mechulik on that whole thing. Ve'ena doiche es Yom Tov, but it doesn't push off Yom Kippur. Omer Ravina the different oim and the dorm and the davis and kriyim b'Yontif. There's a mandoma, there's a machlokes. There's a mandoma that holds that if you bring a neder and a dava, you bring a oila, let's say, you say, here's my oila, you don't shecht it on Shabbos. It's not doicha Shabbos. It's not doicha Yontif. Don't say that the reason why you can't shecht it on Yontif is because we're worried. This guy is he donated a carbon, so when is he gonna bring it? He's gonna push it off until Yontif so that he could, if it's a shlamim, whatever, he wants the meat. He wants to have gishmakim ila Yontif, so he's gonna push it off. So now he's causing a chil Yontif just because he wants to have good meat. So Rabbanan said, no, you cannot, we don't shech the Yontif anyways. So he's not going to have a good reason to push it off. But from here you see, it's not a derabanan, it's actually midiraisa. Why? How do I know? You can't even bake the two breads that are for the Beis Hamikdash. You can't even bake on Yom Tov. So certainly, and there's no Shema Yasha, there's no Gzir D'Rabbanan. So if you cannot bake the two breads, so you also can't shecht a carbon, and Memeli, you see it's a deraisa, not a derabanan.
So you can chef for his own lunch table and Yom Tov, but not if it's slow.
Correct. Because now it's a gzera. Also, there's another problem over there. There's a shaila of that he's gonna be ma'acher. He's gonna come to push it off too much, and then he's gonna push off the whole zman completely. So, as a short akdama, we touched upon it before. If we're talking about an animal, if somebody just says with his mouth, "This animal is my carbon," the animal itself becomes Kodesh Kedushas Haguf, meaning that you cannot redeem it. The only time you could redeem an animal, and that's also going to be in our mission, is if the animal gets a mum, then you have the opportunity, the ability to redeem. Now, a mincha, let's say, something that's not an animal, the Mishnah brings a bunch of examples. Let's take flour. Person says, this flour is going to be my mincha. That does not become Kodesh Kedushas Haguf. That's only Kedushas Damim. So if I want to redeem this flour, so I could use a different flour, I could sell it, I could redeem it, use the money to buy other flour. But once it goes into the Kli Shareis, then it jumps up a Madrega to Kedushas Haguf, no more redeeming. And there's no mum in flour. So that's it, you're done. You can never redeem it. Says the Mishnah, Menachos v'anesachim shenitmu. If it's a mincha or wine for an nesachim, that became tamei. So it depends. If you didn't put it into the kli yet, yeshlam pidyon. Why? Because it's only kedushas damim, and you could be paid it. Once it's in the kli shares, and then pidyon because it's already kedushas haguf, and kedushas haguf has no redemption. Ha'ifais v'ha'etzim. The wood for the Beis Hamikdash, for the karbanis, v'alavayna, the frankincense, is different. Over here you have a levayna that's different than flour. Ukli shares, mishenitmu ein lem pidyon, shleinemar pidyon elo bebehema. There's only redemption for a behema that has a mum. You have to stick in that word, mum. Omar Shmuel. When we're talking about the Mishnah, he seems to contradict the Mishnah a little bit, but he explains. Our Mishnah says that if the mincha is tamei, before you put in the kli shareis, you can redeem it. Says Shmuel, you don't have to come on to tuma. Even as is, you can always redeem. You have flour for a mincha that you said this is going to be my mincha. I can redeem it without tuma. My taima, as long as it wasn't.
Just take it back.
Exactly. I'll take it back. Wait a minute, I'm not taking it back. The money becomes kaddish.
Right.
I'm putting the money aside. You know what? I don't have time to go to Beis Hamikdash this week. I want nice fresh flour, so I'm going to redeem it. I have a bag of money. This is my kaddish money. When I have the opportunity to go to Beis Hamikdash, I am going to buy new flour. Makes sense? As long as it wasn't in the Gdli, it has a din of Kedushas Damim. U'Kedushas Damim niftim. I could redeem Kedushas Damim. How could you come up with such a chiddush of halacha? It says in the Mishnah, the third word in the Mishnah is that it became tamei, mashma, that only if it becomes tamei, and not if you just decide on your own to do it. Says the Gemara, by the way, this just reminds me of the style of the Gemara, and we have to get used to it. It's a question and answer, question and answer. It's not like, I had a bomb question. It's just part of, that's the Shaka B'Tarya. The Gemara knew that this is what the Mishnah said, and the Shmuel knew it, and it's not like, I caught you. The Mishnah says, it's just a style of explaining how things work. Instead of saying a statement, it says it as a question and an answer, and the Gemara understood that that's a better way of remembering things. I'll go upon it. Bomb question. It says before in the Mishnah, Nitmu? No. Since at the end of the Mishnah it talks about it talks about a case where if it was in a kli, there's no pidyon anymore, and that's even in a case where it became tamei. So therefore, as a counterbalance to the seifa, it also said the word nitmu in the ratio, but it's lav dafka nitma. As the Gemara Pshita Kedusha Zagufninu, what's this whole chiddush of the seifa that once it goes in a kli and it becomes Kodesh Kedusha Zaguf, you can't redeem it. Of course, you can't redeem something that's Kodesh Kedusha Zaguf. Israch. You see, as the Gemara is going to bring tomorrow, and that's Kufalef, right away in the beginning of the Gemara, that an animal that has a mum, the Torah calls it a tamei. So maybe tamei, nami kibal mum nami. Maybe this flower that became tamei, we should consider it a balmum. And a balmum, avagav the kodesh, dush zaguf, kinomi mum miprik. I can redeem it. Hanami lebruk. Kamash malon, lav kai tamei kai rachmon el balmum. This is not exactly what the Torah meant. The mikli shares lo yashi chonde miprik kufalav amad aleph. That Rashi says, even an animal, even a behema, once a behema is in a klishares, you can never redeem it. What does it mean a behema is in a klishares? If you use a knife, which is a klishares, to shecht it, there is no redemption past that point. So Mela, this mincha that was in a klishares, there's no redemption. Have a wonderful day. When is it again?
Monday night.
Wait for tomorrow night.
Let's start talking about the field. Let's start organizing.
Who's left in America? Anybody? Who's this guy that's doing this to me? You found out who it is?
I know in the beginning. Comes out.
Leon of the day, have a... I don't know what that means. I remember when I was downstairs, but it was very too late. What, your mom is you told me from the beginning? Really? I'm going to stop the TV just because of you.